Okay, so we're going to do a couple of examples of solving absolute value equations. If you're in my class, then these are examples out of the homework. So first of all, here we have an absolute value equation, problem number 9. Notice that we do have a negative 18, but as we said in the lesson, you can't define that as being a problem because of the fact that we don't have the absolute value isolated yet. So we need to take the absolute value piece, which is absolute value of x minus 1, and isolate that part, get it alone. So first step is to divide both sides by negative 2. Then I will get absolute value of x minus 1 equals 9. And notice that this is positive, so it does check. We can solve this. Now what we do is we split this into two equations. Our first equation being, okay, x minus 1 could be positive 9, and then absolute value of 9 would be 9. And the second one, x minus 1, could be negative 9, because the absolute value of negative 9 is also 9. Then we just solve both these equations. So adding 1 to both sides, we'll get x equals 10 on the left-hand side. Adding 1 to both sides, we'll get x equals negative 8 on the right-hand side. Now I want to check these against my set. So I basically want to take these and look at it in here to see if it works or not. So 10 minus 1 is 9. That's fine. Negative 8 minus 1 is negative 9, but absolute value of negative 9 is 9. So those are good. So now I've checked them. So now I can say these are my two answers for this particular problem. All right, so another example. Again, remembering to get the absolute value section alone. What I would need to do here is subtract 14 from both sides of my equation. I will end up with absolute value of x minus 6 equals 14. That is a positive number, so good to go. Split it into my two possible values of x minus 6 could be 14, or x minus 6 could be negative 14. Solve both sides of that equation. Essentially, adding 6 to both sides of this equation. And my two possible answers are x equals 20 and x equals negative 8. If I check them back, 20 minus 6 here, 20 minus 6 is 14, so that one's good. Negative 8 minus 6 is negative 14, but absolute value of negative 14 is 14, so that one is also good. Okay, so one more. This one's a little more confusing because we now have fractions running around, but what we want to remember is that essentially this fraction here is 1 divided by 3. So if I need to get rid of something being divided, what I want to do is multiply. So I'm going to multiply the left-hand side of this equation by 3 and the right-hand side of this equation by 3. Once again, isolating the absolute value. So what I'll get is absolute value of 2x equals 36. And the reason why is because 3 over 3 essentially reduces out to 1. So that is not part of my problem anymore. And then again, this is 36 is positive, so I'm good to go. So now I do my two possibilities. 2x can be positive 36, or 2x can be negative 36. Divide by 2. On the left, I'm going to get x is a possibility of 18. On the right, x is a possibility of negative 18. Quickly mentally checking that back, they both work. Since they're positive and negative of the same number, I'm going to be lazy and write it as plus or minus 18. Be careful with this notation because this essentially is two values, a positive 18 and then also a negative 18. And that is the end of the examples for absolute value.